I'll tell you what I'm doing right here with the pan, got two pans on here, and things but good evening and welcome, and Kirsty, welcome. How are you, Kirsty?
I'm good. How are you? I'm having a hard time hearing you, but I'm good.
Okay, hang on for a second. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Christy Davis. Quiet my phone over here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I actually was on your show probably about a month ago. I am a coach. I help people with their mindset. I'm also a published author. I help people kind of love themselves. I've gone through my own personal journey and story. So I'm a motivator and a mentor, and that's what I do. And I'm in the States. I'm in the United States.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of like to get everybody to know you again. So because if they haven't seen you before, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
No problem.
let's talk about your book.
Yeah,
You've got a book,
I
and
do.
yeah, there you go. Show it up to everybody. Show your book to
There
everybody.
you go. It is called Redeemed. It's the guide to self-love and journey to true happiness. So it actually became an international #1 bestseller. It became a #1 in the United States, Canada, and in the Netherlands. So it did really well. My book really is a self-help book, but it's not just the traditional self-help book that most people read. It's about my journey, but it also helps people kind of see themselves in my story. So, Steve, before we talked, and I know, this is kind of our backstory, but I actually lost over 115 pounds, which I didn't calculate it in kilos, but
Right.
anyhow.
Okay.
So I did lose almost half of my body weight when I took on the plant-based way of eating. So that really was a big transformation for me because I needed to learn how to love myself in order to start losing weight. And that was a huge change compared to what most people think is you actually need to lose weight and then you love yourself, which then people have issues losing weight and then they feel bad about themselves and then they think they're a failure and then they go through the same cycle that we all do because I was heavy my entire life and I was always the heaviest kid in my class. So I know what that all feels like. And so I actually found something that works fairly well for me. And I've been doing this now for over 2 years and maintaining my weight and things are going really well.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
What the trouble is with weight and everything, because I don't know if you know, but I've got my book coming out in December, and there'll be a lot going on there about weight and everything. Plus, I do obesity and stuff like that, obesity campaigner. The trouble is with weight, there's a lot of stigma out there going around. I don't know what it's like in your country, right? But over here, it's massive. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people look at people that are overweight as lazy, it's even to the point where people think that people that are overweight are not as smart. I mean, it's ridiculous of really the stigma that's around weight.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was the reason beyond the book?
What was the reason I wrote the book?
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted people to understand that they were worthy. I guess in a way, when the book is a lot of my story in it. It doesn't have all of my story. It's not an autobiography where it tells my whole life, but it gives some snippets and things of that of what I've gone through. And I wanted to write it because I didn't want people to feel alone. I think a lot of times we read books from people and we think, man, they have their life together. If only I had even half that stuff going on for me, then I'd be able to actually understand what they went through. And honestly, it's like, we all have struggles and we all have things that we can celebrate and accomplishments and things like that. And, without the mountains, we can't appreciate the valleys. And the same thing, if we don't have valleys, we can't appreciate the mountains. So I kind of wanted to write the book to kind of tell people like, I've been in the shoes and I'm still not perfect. I think often we read books and, we think that these people are now like, perfect. And oh my gosh, like how could they ever struggle again? And it's like, no, like everybody struggles. And I wanted to kind of people to see how, my book is called Redeemed. I mean, that's my business, is Redeemed Coaching. And redeemed means being better than you were before. It doesn't mean perfect. So perfect is actually not even a thing. I mean, so if you can be redeemed, and even I do a group coaching with plant-based eating called Redeemed Eating, because with every bite you can do better than the bite before. You can redeem yourself.
Right. Okay. And so, where'd you get the name from? Redeem, then?
Redeem?
Yeah.
Well, I am a Christian. So redeemed does have, some Christian ties to it, because if you become redeemed as a Christian, it means that you've been born again and you have trust in the Lord. But ultimately, the redeemed is ultimately to do better than you once did. And when you read even the redeemed coaching, it's to just, with every step, even no matter how far off a path you've gone in life and you feel like I can't get my life back on track, whether it be eating or business or, finances or relationships, whatever you're on, and you feel you've gone so far off in the wrong direction, you can turn around and you can redeem yourself with one step and one bite and one action. You can redeem yourself and get back to where you want to go. So that's where the whole name came from.
Okay, brilliant. Very good.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a Christian too, and brilliant. What sets Redeemed Coaching apart from anybody else?
I think what sets me apart is I have a lot more empathy than a lot of coaches that I meet. I'm not salesy, which is different than coaches I meet. I love to love on people, but I also believe in people a lot more than I think other people do. I'm much more genuine and much more compassionate. But there are also times that I have tough love. And I think tough love really gets people to, we can always sugarcoat things in life, but sometimes we need some good tough love too in order for us to start making actions in our life. So I feel I have a good combination of all those, but I do find that a lot of coaches are very salesy, are very expensive. And to me, I don't believe people should be taking out another loan on their home in order to have a coach. So that's not what I am either. So that's what sets me apart.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the retreat that you have.
Yeah. So I have a retreat. I'm located in Wisconsin in the United States. So if you look at the United States map, where all the Great Lakes are in the northern central part, that's where Wisconsin's located. And I actually already own a resort up in the northern part of Wisconsin. My husband and I own a 4-cabin resort on a lake. So people already have come here for the last 5 years as just guests, not even part of the retreat, to escape life. I mean, they come from the city. They want to come up here where it's quiet. They have the beauty of the lake. They have the peacefulness of nature. And I decided to wrap in and start actually create retreats where I bring a holistic approach, meaning I help people mind, body, and soul. So I do holistic as far as, first I start with yoga. And I think that's a huge thing, is when I started loving myself and wanting to do better movements for my body, I found yoga. And I always thought that yoga was like you had to be extra flexible and extra fit and had to twist yourself like a pretzel, and that was yoga. And when I realized that it actually wasn't that at all, it was bringing breath and movement together and finding peacefulness in whatever your body's capable of doing. And it's not a competition with anybody. It's of yourself. I mean, if today I can only do this and I keep moving, tomorrow and next week I can go a little farther and I can go a little farther. And I love yoga. And I help people with like chair yoga, people that can't, have bad knees or can't get on the ground. So I actually modify a lot of my yoga for people. So I start the retreat with yoga, and then I go into plant-based nutrition. And plant-based nutrition, I don't know if your viewers are familiar with it, so I'll kind of touch on what plant-based nutrition is. So people would call it vegan, but because it actually excludes all animal products. So any meat, fish, eggs, dairy. I've excluded all of that from my diet. But what makes it different than vegan is vegan, there's a lot of unhealthy vegan things. I mean, sugar is still unhealthy, and, a lot of processed things are still unhealthy. You can have a lot of, processed vegan burgers and all this other stuff, where ultimately plant-based is eating things as pure as possible. So what you can recognize out of the garden is what I eat. So lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, beans and rice and legumes and nuts and seeds. So it sounds very like, man, that's really limiting. But ultimately, I eat more of a variety of food now than I ever have. And I can really make some amazing dishes that taste so savory and so hearty. So at the retreat, I teach people how to cook, and I teach them the nutrition of it, and I teach them the science behind why it's so beneficial. And so we go through a lot of nutrition classes and cooking classes, and I provide all the recipes so they can take those home and start, implementing into their world. And then I also do a lot of personal development stuff while they're at the retreat. You can do retreats from either one person individually all the way up to 4 people. So it's not big groups at all. And I do that on purpose because when we get into the personal development, we really are digging into like your personality traits and, the art of listening and severing grievances and all of these things that are very personal. And if you were in a big group of people you didn't know and strangers, or you got a whole bunch of friends together, you really wouldn't be able to open up and release some of the stuff or really take it in as if you can when there's a smaller group or more intimate setting. So that's kind of where we do a lot of that emotional things as well. Then I have like a masseuse come in and we do massages. So like there's all these different avenues of what a retreat can be. But ultimately, it's so you can leave feeling better than when you came.
Great. It sounds like a palace.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And like I said, I mean, our cabin is literally right on the water, right on the shoreline of this beautiful lake. And, the nature, I mean, you always see eagles and, deer. And it's so beautiful here that it's just so nice for people to come here. And I'm actually doing a few writers' retreats coming up because people are now doing these retreats and then saying, well, now I'm getting so creative and my mindset is so clear when I'm here, I could write. And I'm like, let's do it. So now we have some writers coming in and doing some of that. So that's even more fun.
Brilliant. Very good. Very good. And the other thing what I was going to ask you about is the, hang on for a second, it was the relaxation and focus. Is that a part of your retreat too?
Oh, absolutely. Relaxation and focus is huge. I mean, just our property alone, people will, and we felt it when we came here to buy it. I mean, you pull in and you feel this overwhelming sense of peace. I mean, we call it our slice of heaven. You pull in, you just feel like this is God's country. Like this is so peaceful and beautiful. And that's a huge part of it is, I think so often in our society teaches us in order to feel productive, we need to be doing something. Well, sometimes taking care of yourself and relaxing is productive. So that's a huge part of, definitely relaxation and things like that is huge here. And when I do retreats too, I live on the property. So I only work with the people in the cabin from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., which I do that on purpose because they need all that time in the morning to slowly wake up and to have that time to reflect, that time in the evening to journal or write or do whatever. So they don't feel like something's scheduled every second of the day. That's not what a retreat should feel like. You should leave with a sense of feeling relaxed.
Yeah. And so if people do want to come on to your retreat, how do they do that?
Well, what I would always say is have them first contact me through my website. It's redeemedcoaching.com. And then on the website, it talks a lot about the retreats. But then in there, then they can email me and then we can start, we can probably set up a call, like a Zoom call, and talk about it because I actually customize all the retreats, meaning I make sure what do you want? I mean, if some people aren't into plant-based eating, and it's just because it works for me doesn't mean everybody wants to do it. So I don't have to do it for everybody. They can bring their own food. That's what our cottages are. And then, some people want to do yoga. I find out what their personal, their personal limitations are, so I can customize it all. Yeah, you're scrolling through my website right now. Yeah, so I have a lot of testimonies on there, people that just simply love working with me, and the same thing.
Showing people your website, that's all.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, I mean, the same thing with like personal development. Some people, they want to get into, like I said, like, the art of listening or grievances. I mean, I have probably 20 different options. Just because one person's struggling with it doesn't mean that everybody struggles with it. So I always want to make sure that when people come, it's customized and it's exactly what they need in order to feel that relaxation.
Okay. And how long can they have their retreat for?
Typical retreats are 4 days and 3 nights. So that way we have 2 full days together. I have had people that bring on a whole week retreat. So it's not like I said, it's not a one size fits all. They can do whatever they want and they feel that it's necessary. And then the price obviously depends on that.
Right. Okay. Good. Great. Brilliant. And with your book, where can people get a copy of your book?
They can actually get my book on Amazon.
Right.
So, yep. So in my website, I want to say, yep. So there's my before and after picture, or my before and current. I don't even like saying after. It's my before and current because our life's a journey. So there is no after. It's before and current. But on the website, if you go to the 21-day challenge, oh yeah, that's when I was on the local news, was right there, that bottom one. Yeah, there you go. I was on the local news and we talked about a lot of the same thing that we're talking about now, about all the different avenues of my book and things like that. But if you go to the 21-day challenge, which is the next tab over, yep, right there, I actually created a 21-day mindset reset challenge, which is huge for people. It's helping people get themselves into the right mindset on several different topics, on 21 different topics, actually. So this is a great resource for people to use if they really are just trying to figure out where they really want to start with coaching. Because a lot of times people don't know, like, they have a lot of things going on inside their head, but they don't know really what avenue or how to articulate it. So taking this challenge is very, very helpful and very affordable way to start doing the coaching. But then in this link as well, I think on a little bit scroll down is actually where the book is. And then you can click on that in order to take you to Amazon to buy the book.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Right there is how you buy the book.
There you go, guys. If you want the book, it's you can get that on Amazon, and you can get it on Kindle, paperback. It's worth the money. And,
yep. And you can also do an Audible too. If you guys do Audible, where you can listen to the books, and then I actually am the one reading the book as well.
Yeah. I like this. Do you want to learn how to use the power of positive thinking? That's really good. Everything is about positive thinking.
It definitely does. Yeah. I mean, I think a huge thing that with all of my clients, no matter what their struggles are, it truly is your mindset. I mean, a lot of things in life, this is what I always tell people in life, when you're getting upset or you're getting worked up or you're overthinking something, ask yourself, is this fact or is this a story I'm telling myself? Because so often we're telling ourselves stories and then they become our reality. When ultimately it's just a story that we're telling ourselves and we can change that mindset. It's not really a fact.
Yeah, that's it. And what techniques kind of like you use for the mindset then?
Within this challenge?
Yes. Yeah.
So within this challenge, how it works is when you sign up, you get an email from me every day for 21 days. And in this email is a video of me talking about a topic. And the number one, like the day one, is spirituality. And I talk about, obviously, that I explain that I'm a Christian, but I'm not telling people that they need to be Christian if that's not the path they want to go. It's the fact that I'm explaining the difference of what your higher power is and how you connect with your higher power and how that really is huge to know that you have a higher power. And so it's not really like I don't want people to think that I'm telling them how to change their way of thinking or changing their mindset, because I'm not doing that. It's more of having them explore their own thoughts. So it's about a 10-minute video every day you get on a different topic. And then there is actually like homework activities. If this is something, if that certain day's topic is something that really speaks to you, you can kind of reflect and maybe do a little journaling or a little bit more of your own on your own, time. And then I also put in about 4 videos or information from experts, because there's always different perspectives. So it's not just my perspective, it's different perspectives based on this one topic. So every day you get an email and all this information for 21 days. And the reason for 21 days is if you're trying to create a better habit of having a more positive life, feeling more grounded, understanding who you are. I mean, one of the days I explain understanding your core values. Well, everybody goes, well, yeah, I have values. Well, what are your core values? Family. I mean, like, people have never really stopped and actually discovered what their core values are. And if they're not living a life within line of their core values, that's when life is hard. So I explain a lot of this. So really people are unraveling who they are and they're discovering more of themselves, which helps them more positively look at the world and then react to things and things like that. So by the end of the 21 days, life's a little different. Life's a little more lighter, life's a little more positive. And then when people say, okay, Kirsty, I really want some more help. I want to touch base on these things. I'm still kind of struggling in these areas. That's when it's really helpful to then do coaching. I think a lot of times people think, well, coaching, I just sit there and I just talk to somebody. You can. I mean, that is coaching, but wouldn't it be helpful to say, okay, I understand these are my areas where I'm struggling, and I'm not just complaining about my spouse. I'm upset with my spouse because their core values aren't in line with my core values, and that's where we're ruffling our feathers. It would make more sense to understand that's what's going on versus, leading in the dark. So that's why I created the 21-day mindset, to really help my clients when they come into coaching get that much farther with the progress, and they can really make some significant changes.
Brilliant. Very good. And everybody will kind of like get onto that. So we get everybody, get the book and, and get onto the plan, I reckon. You should get on the plan. Actually, I've just emailed you, actually.
Okay.
So, and you never know, if you need a bit of help or a bit of guidance and stuff, you're here to give it. So why not? Anyway, okay, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And don't forget, at the end of the day, what you got to do is just press that button, and you'll be in touch. See you later. Bye for now.